Welcome to the Apex, everyone. I'm your host, Zell, and we've got news with an edge as always. And today in our blog and print news, we have from BladeReviews.com kind of a story about the Spyderco S. Not really one of Spyderco's shining moments for functional knives, but for an art piece, it's really, really cool and ambitious. You're going to want to go, at the very least, look at the pictures on that one, because that is one cool looking knife from Spyderco as far as art pieces go. And from Knife News, we have Ruike's 2018 spring lineup. They've got them all gathered up there for you with pictures, and you're going to want to go check that out. And we have the Caswell Morphing Karambit. And this is a very neat mechanism for a Karambit that I'm really not going to try to explain. You're just going to have to go look. There's some videos over there and a link to the Kickstarter, and it is kind of a very expensive Karambit. However, coming later this year or early next year, there's going to be a reduced priced version coming as well. The Kickstarter version is $400 or more, and it's going to have some very high-end steel, and of course it's made by Millet, so it's going to be a very nice knife. The one coming will be made to be more of a slightly more budget thing. I didn't really give a price on where it was going to come in. If I were going to guess, I would say that the next one will come in under 200 bucks, maybe closer to 100. Of course, nobody said, so I don't know for sure. I'm just making a guess. But if you like neat mechanisms or anything, you're going to want to go and get a look at the videos on that, because it is pretty darn slick. And guys, I know we're a little light on news today, and I should probably apologize for that, but I'm not, because the reason we're a little light on news today is last night, Staza23, Brian from Slicey Dicey, and I recorded the first Slicey Dicey podcast. And guys, I really think it went off well. I really believe you're going to enjoy it. And no, it's being edited right now, and it will be up very soon. However, we're going to put that thing into Podomatic, so it'll be at all of the places that you might look for a podcast. And we're also going to put it on YouTube. You can search up Slicey Dicey Podcast, and you should get the YouTube channel, and I will try to put a link down below. And if I can, I will put the name down there, and if I don't have a link, I will leave it open to put a link, say link incoming or something. But get a link down there to that, and you'll want to go over there and subscribe and click that little bell, because it's only going to ring about once every 2 weeks and let you know that the Slicey Dicey podcast is ready for your consumption. However, I say only every other week. Once we get this rolling, we're going to use that platform as a platform to stick in things. You know, if we have some issue come up, something cool happen, whatever, news articles that are really important or we feel like we want to talk about, we may pop in, all three of us or just a couple of us, and do a 10 or 15 minute little podcast about whatever that is. So it may go off a little more often, but it's not going to be an annoying bell. It's going to go off constantly, just whenever there's something important going on. So be looking for that, and as soon as I have all the links for it, I will pop in, do a video, a little short one, to let you guys know it's there. So if you haven't clicked the little bell down here, wherever it is down there, you know, the little bell by the subscribe button, you might want to do that here too. So on to video. We don't have a bunch today, but we still got plenty. LuvThemKnives has gotten a hold of the steel wheel Intrigue. The big one and the small one. And just so you guys know, the steel wheel Intrigue is starting to get out to dealers. I saw them, I believe it was at Grand Prairie Knives, GP Knives, last night. So that's an indicator that they're going to be sliding out to everybody in the next few days. And that's a knife. I will probably get the larger one sometime here real soon and get a review done here. And, you know, I don't want to say it's going to be a great knife, because I have my reservations about steel wheel and their FRN handled knives and that handle flex. But we'll see how they did with this one. It's definitely a design that I'm interested in, and LuvThemKnives has you covered on the first look at it for sure. And Staza23 is bringing us a knife therapy as always with the Battleground Leather Company custom EDC pocket slip and some other goodies. And he's also got a review of the Knives Eschaton. He says it is a machining masterpiece. And if you haven't really looked closely at that knife, I know it looks cool, all Klingongy and stuff, but the machining that went into that knife is pretty darn impressive. Not just the machining in the handle, but the machining in the blades and the bevels. Or the blade and the bevels. It's just rather outstanding from a machining standpoint. From an everyday carry standpoint, well, that's up to you. I probably, well, I wouldn't carry it every day. However, I have carried one. Other people, you may be just fine carrying that thing every day, and more power to you because it is one cool knife. And House of Wisdom hits us with the 717 Valiant, the little big knife, and that is a chunky little monkey there. Kind of a heavyweight in that 3-inch knife category, but hey, at least we as a company is doing things for that category. We're starting to see more and more of that from other companies as well. But, you know, whenever I started this channel, I kept hearing, why can't I get that in a 3-inch blade? Why can't I get that in a 3.4-inch blade? And I know there's knife rules everywhere, and a lot of these companies can't. They have to make the knife to the design and just deal with it. Like these Intrigues from Steel Will. The smallest one is like 3.2 or so in blade length, so it blows that 3-inch thing out of the water. And that's kind of even disappointing to me. I would have liked for the small one to be like at 2.9 because the bigger one's at 3.6. So let's have a little more differentiation. But even more so for you guys that live in those restricted areas. However, if you live in one of those restricted areas, you need to be getting hold of your legislators, getting people together, and take care of that mess because it's just silly. All right, I've had that, and Slicey Dicey. He comes in with a couple of unboxings this week. First up is the one you have to watch. I said it, you got to watch it because, well, you'll just see when you get there. Slicey is a bit interesting in this one, and he has the Kizer Zipslip unboxing. And then he also unboxed the ZT0609, another very cool knife. And Jake up at Canadian Cutting Edge, well, he rolls in this week with the Ruike P831SF. He asks, is it awesome or awful? You'll have to go watch the video to find out. And Eugene Kwon has dashboard review number 49. He's getting a lot of those dashboard reviews. And it's the Knives Zeta. That's the Elijah Isham design, the more EDC friendly of the two designs from Elijah that are going through Knives right now. Pretty freaking cool knife. I had the prototype here not too long ago, and it's pretty neat. And from Shortcut Reviews, okay, now this guy has a Spyderco Mantra, the first one, the one that's like a big flipper Delica made out of titanium and CPM M4. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Go watch the review. As soon as you get done watching the review, that is one awesome knife. It has a couple of issues that can be fixed fairly easily. So as soon as you get done watching that review, go look through the secondary market and see if you can't find one of those at a reasonable price from somebody that's been frustrated by it, because there's lots of them out there. That's how I got mine. And just nab one, because if you like a Delica, but you'd like a flipper on bearings, you really can't beat the Mantra, and Shortcut Reviews will tell you about it. And then old Nick Shabazz, we've got the Giantmouse. Wow. I lost that one, guys. We'll start over again. Old Nick Shabazz has the Giantmouse GM4 and the Hinderer XM18 Slipjoint. And then here on this channel, we had a look at what's inside the Bestech Starfighter. That's a pretty cool knife, and for those of you that keep messaging me about the Starfighter and wanting to trade or whatever with it, that knife has already moved along to another person, and it will probably rear its head again in social media, or at least I know it will rear its head again in social media. So that was my hope, was to move it on to somebody that would continue to show the knife off, because it was number 1 of 100, I believe, but it did bite me. Bit me pretty hard. that hurt for several days. Anyhow, it is gone. The other thing we did in the past week is we heat colored stainless steel. And I want to make, wow, just about lost my laptop. Hang on. I want to say something real quick about the heat coloring of the stainless steel. I didn't mention it because I really didn't think it'd be that big a deal, but people kept bringing it up. Whenever you're heat coloring the stainless, you've got to be conscious of color and temperature. If you take those stainless screws out of the Spyderco very much past the color that I put on them, the kind of bronzy, yellow, goldy color, you will start to mess with the heat treatment of those screws. And if you're looking to do this for yourself, basically it works like this. If you're dealing with inexpensive knives, you're dealing with your CRKTs, your Chinese Kershaws, your various other inexpensive knives, most of those screws, not all, but most of them are going to be 304 or 316 stainless. You can run them up red hot and let them cool off, and nothing bad's going to happen. However, whenever you move up the scale in price and quality a little bit, and you get into the Spydercos and maybe some of the Bokers, I don't know about that, they generally have pretty soft screws, but knives that have harder screws in them, most of the time those screws are going to be a 400 series stainless, most likely 410. They might be 420 J2, but probably not. But anyhow, a hardenable 400 series stainless or whatever the Chinese equivalent is. And whenever you get there, you need to know what the steel is you're dealing with and keep your coloring temperature below the temper temperature. Yeah, I know, I just said stuff and people are like, what the heck is he talking about? Okay, on the 410 series stuff and most of the 400 series stainlesses, if you go to that kind of bronzy color that I used in that video, you're fine. That color comes in at somewhere between 400 and 500 degrees, and that steel is tempered between 500 and 600 degrees, if I remember correctly. So as long as you're below that temperature, you're not going to mess with the hardness of that steel. So just be aware of that if you decide to color the stainless, and you shouldn't have any problems. Now, I am attempting to color an entire stainless scale right now. We'll see how that works, because one is from CRKT. They couldn't answer what type of steel it was, so I'm making best guesses. We'll see what happens. If you don't see any videos on it, it was a complete failure. It's just the way it is. Anyhow, you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget about the Slicey Dicey podcast, the Patreon, and I will see you next time.